Good morning, and what a time we have had since that trap number 3. Very, very good time to be alive because we have been directing through this very, very well. And as a lot of people said, this is going to be the moment for the next crash, we made sure to not let any bias come in. We paid attention to the actual signals, and we saw the 2-hour higher low make it. So this market was very likely to go to a new all-time high, and that's exactly what happened. And we can say thank you to weekly expected moves. We can say thank you to the daily expected move for Friday, and we now know that with the divergence being wiped out on the 30-minute, with the divergence being almost wiped out on the 30-minute MACD and RSI, that it is very likely that this market will continue to the upside. But as we do have some big events next week, we need to be watching out because this video is not going to go over those shorter time frames. That's going to come out tomorrow morning, so make sure you subscribe. But today, we're going to be getting into that weekly and daily time frame to talk about the macro scale to see, hey, was this enough to change things? Are we going up to 800 for the SPY, or is there still just more and more of a trap? And is this going to get uglier and uglier as we could see another drop like this one if we continue to head slowly to the upside? So let's get into it. That's right, guys. Today we will be working on the weekly and daily time frame. We'll be going over the bigger time frames, but make sure you're subscribed for tomorrow because we will be giving out the updated weekly expected moves. We'll be giving out the updated daily expected moves for Monday. But for today, I think it's important to remind us, hey, has the macro scale changed with this little move right here? No, it has not. Now, we are traders, so we have to follow that trend, right? I think someone out there says follow the trend into the end or something like that. I don't really care. I just follow positive and negative trends. I just follow the charts. But if we were looking at this, that means, hey, the direction is still to the upside according to the shorter time frames. The weekly has not confirmed down on the MACD, tried to on the RSI, but are we just creating a point this week? You still want to be very aware, and that's why I wanted to just talk about the weekly time frame before we get into the daily one, because the daily one is going to give us those hints, and then tomorrow we'll get into those shorter time frames. So make sure you stick with us this weekend. The weekly time frame, very, very positive. So any drop you see here, you're probably going to see a lot of people still suggesting stock market crash, stock market crash, stock market crash. But at the same time, you have to understand this is seriously positive. And we've done this multiple times. We haven't had a big macro video in a long time. In a few weeks, not really a long time. But you'll notice when big volatility is going to get in, I'm talking big volatility, like boom to the downside, bear market for a little while, boom to the downside, even with COVID and things like that. Well, for this time, you mostly do have a few curl ups to go, right? We have a few curl ups in here. We have a few curl ups in here. It is very rare to just see a weekly go up into positive territory and then plummet down into negative. So you are most likely looking for at least 1 point of divergence or a lower high. And so most likely in this market, we do have some more upside for 2026. But it looks like we're leaking this out as far as possible. And that's where we have to understand that the weekly is still most likely to pull back to something like 590, then just curl up into positive territory. That is still the most probable thing when we do experience our weekly pullback. So if people are out there shouting out, 50% crash or 40% crash, well, those would be taking out these lows and we would not see another upside move. So I disagree with that. I think the lowest that we could do is come down to my channel line, kind of this little trend line here between these lows. I think that this would be the more likely area, which would be like worst case scenario, which would be, as of right now from this high, that would be about, I would say 18%. If you wanted to go a little bit lower, you're probably at like 20%. But what I am leaning towards is about what did I say before? Still leaning towards that about 9 to 14% corrective move. That is what really looks like to be the shape up here. So if you're new to charts, if you're new to weekly charts, if you're new to charts in general, what's the simplest way to think about this market? Well, the simplest way is, hey, do I want to invest thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars at the highs? Or do I want to follow the simple rule of buy low, sell high? Because as of right now, this is a high. As of right now, the weekly chart looks like it needs to pull back. And wouldn't you rather be like, hey, if it comes down to here and curls up, I'd rather buy down here and get that little extension. Or if that would happen a little bit differently, and maybe we do go through that more corrective move that I'm suggesting, hey, maybe we do get that 13% correction and then we curl up. Wouldn't you rather be in here, right? Or on the weekly scale, even if the things that people are saying that I don't necessarily agree with, even if this would happen, coming down about 18 to 20%, would that be a better opportunity than putting thousands and thousands of dollars in right now? The answer to that question would be obviously yes. This is just to talk about it very simply to remind us, of even people with a bunch of skills, sometimes we don't think as simply as we can. But on the weekly scale, what are you looking for here? You're looking for the weekly to curl down, hopefully get close to that center line so it's a nice big pullback, and then you are actually, or a nice big correction, and then you curl up into positive territory and you say, hey, thank you, I can now hold on to this for about 2 to 6 months, because that's usually how long it takes for us to set up the next divergence point. So hopefully the weekly chart, you do understand it is very, very simple at this point. That means that we need to be watching the daily chart very, very closely. And now the SPY guys, we like to go pretty thorough into the SPY. We'll kind of summarize things with the Qs because they're very similar in a lot of ways. But we did get the confirmation to the upside on the daily. And I am seeing a lot of YouTubers delete certain indicators off, and we'll talk about that with the update, with the weekly expected moves updated on the shorter time frames. A lot of people out there are like taking certain indicators that don't show their narrative off of the screen and then displaying it to people. I do not agree with that, right? I take everything into consideration. So at this point, for the daily scale, we don't really run into that problem. We're looking for the RSI. We're looking for a little climb here, probably make those 2-hour reversal signals that we're going to go over in the next video tomorrow. We're looking for this to pop up and give us that reversal signal up here. We're looking for that next point of divergence where everyone really gives up and says, hey, this market's going to go up by 20%. And right when they make that declaration, that's when you start to see trouble. People were making that declaration right in here. And look what we went through, a big amount of trouble. And most likely you are going to see a couple of weeks like this before you actually get a bounce, because we have had to the upside for so long. So if we want to go up to that monthly expected move as the daily has curled up, and we'll have updated weekly expected moves to see if we can get there. If we want to get to that monthly expected move, well, then we can start to see big breakdowns, get a little head and shoulders like this going on for the downside. So as of right now, you're looking for that next divergence point. I like to talk about both sides. How do we know if this divergence point is overall violated or less likely to be some kind of crash signal, some kind of correction signal? Well, as of right now, we would look at these points on the RSI. I really like the RSI for these things, and I would look for this. Overall, we have seen 1, 2, 3 lower highs now, right? We've really made those potential divergences very, very well from even this first point way over here. Now we could take that out. Let's just take the near price action right in here, and let's blow up that RSI. And let's say, hey, okay, so if we have divergence like this, but this point right here, and let's just draw this across, and this point right here goes above that, what's very likely to happen? Especially, it's a little bit if it takes this one out, especially if it takes this one out. If it takes that one out, you're very likely to see another moment where we have to recreate those signals. Right, we'd have to recreate this right over here if we don't make a triple divergence. So I wanted to point that out. The only way that this market can leak out and go higher and not fall down in the next few weeks, I would say probably in the next 5 to 10 trading sessions, like we discussed on Patreon, like we go up to these type of areas and we fall. The only way you extend that is if you squeeze through. Then you can pull back, right? You have to violate the actual momentum signals. You have to continue to the upside. And that's going to be very, very important. So I know this was a lot to take in. I hope that you're able to watch it maybe once or twice if you need to go over it again, if you're having some trouble with the macro side. But really, all you have to realize here is, hey, this is curled up, so everything is still bullish. This is curled up, so everything is still bullish. The price action is curled up, so everything is still bullish. And we were correct to point out new all-time highs back down in these type of areas. We were very correct to point that out. A lot of people saying that we were going to roll and crash here. We were aware of it. We did not say that that was the most probable. We said the most probable was new all-time highs. And now we are heading to the upside where we have to see and do our work in those shorter time frames to see if we are going to create some reversal signals up there on the 2-hour for some hints. And that's why you need to subscribe to check out tomorrow's video. But for today, I think we need to go over the Qs just one more time. Now, I don't think I need to go in the weekly scale, guys. Weekly pullback, right? Look how dramatic this is up. There is no divergence on the weekly scale. So to call a major stock market crash is a little bit hasty, right? We need to see the market prove that. That's a guess at this point. The very, very highly more probable thing is what I'm going to mention, which is a weekly pullback. Look for that to get by the center line. It will be a great opportunity. I'm looking at the price point of about 520. I really like 520 for the Qs from where we're at now. That would be, as of right now, 15%, a little over 15% correction in my book, which is great. Now, the daily time frame has just curled up, right? We don't need to focus on the weekly too much. You kind of understand we don't want to overdo it with something so simple. The daily scale has curled up. What do we see? The same exact things. First of all, if you weren't here, we were saying thank you to the Qs. The Qs helped us out a ton back in this area. They told us that all of this was going to happen to the SPY. Thank God for the Qs. Then we go through something bad. You're probably going to see multiple weeks of this, at least 2, before you even get a dead cat bounce once this is actually all said and done. But right now, you're not all said and done. Everything is still bullish. The RSI is curled up. The MACD is curled up. And what? Positive territory. The price action looks good as well. It's following right along. That's perfect. We're not seeing anything too funky out here. And we are going to go into volatility in a second, so make sure that you stick with us for this video. As it goes, though, we need to see if this is going to punch through, right? Are you going to get that blow off top that can really extend it for another couple of pushes? Get that nice little McDonald's sign. Hopefully you guys are out there playing Monopoly. We're about to win a Jeep. If anyone finds the railroad piece that we need, please send it to us so I can win a Jeep. I've never won anything in my life. Just play with it. But seriously, we're one off from a Jeep. No, but back to it, guys. This is curled up. So we need to squeeze through. We need to violate those points on the RSI. That's the best way to know, hey, is this actually going to be a top? Is it higher probability to be a top? Or is it low probability to be a top, even if I see it on my MACD? It's low probability to be a top if you squeeze through those points, and then you have to remake them. So we're going to continue for a bit of time. So if you really want this market to crumble down, if you want the Qs to crumble down to 520, you want this RSI to curl up, maybe go up to like a point of about 70 right on the dot, and then fail. You want this to go up to this type of area right up in here, create those 2-hour divergences that we're going to go over in tomorrow's video, and we want that to fail. Then we can start to do the things that this market needs to do to actually fall down for a longer period of time, because we keep leaking it higher. What did I say? The longer we go up, the bigger the drop. You're starting to see little hints of that. We got a hint of it here. We get a hint of it here. Now it's starting to get really dramatic on the week-to-week basis. So once this market actually does react to what's going on in the world, what's actually happening with the signals here, what's actually happening with government shutdowns, inflate, all of these type of things, we're going to see a corrective move. But we do have more time because this is very likely just a weekly pullback, but we need to go make those reversal signals first. So let's go over into volatility and see what we were looking at there. And maybe volatility can give us a hint this week, especially on those shorter time frames. So the weekly scale here is still curled up. Now, one thing I need to have a 200 up. I know this is kind of a blip right now, but I need to have that 200 up because that is very important. You know, weekly 200, when you're above that, it's not very good. 50, a weekly 50, not very good, right? That's a sign where you want to be very cautious. Now, if this MACD does curl down in negative territory, you might be seeing that squeeze happen. I don't think that happens to us. I think you are more likely to be diligent in paying attention to what? If the weekly can actually reject here and go positive. Why would I talk about that? Well, because the daily's not negative yet. The daily's in a positive trend. The daily is at that daily 50, at the daily 200. So once you cross through that daily 200, it's very likely to see some kind of squeeze. And actually, I think it would be a little bit clearer on the charts if we kind of just have the 50 and 200 up. I think those are the important ones for volatility. In my book, I still use the 9-day moving average, the 9 on whatever time frame has good confirmations. But we'll go into those shorter time frames tomorrow to tell you what to look for next week or going on in the next 5 to 10 trading sessions. So as of right now, what are we looking for here? Let's keep it simple, right? Keeping it simple. I literally have a tattoo on my arm that means keep it simple. The simplest answer is usually the best one. That is what the tattoo on my arm means. It has helped me out in my life so much. It has kept me from going crazy. It has kept me from getting too emotional. What is the simplest answer here? This is most likely bait. You notice that as we go to new all-time highs, is volatility breaking down to 1212? No. Is volatility in a negative trend right now on the daily scale? No. So what is going on here is, one, people are reacting. Somebody knows the risk is there. A lot of people know the risk is there, but they keep going into the market and they keep ignoring it to the extent that we are in a positive trend for volatility. All we have to do is come down to this center line, curl up into positive territory, right? Come down to that 1504, curl up into positive territory, and bye-bye, says volatility. We are going to get that corrective move. We have seen these little 5% weekly drops, and then we just catch ourselves and go up. That's going to stop very, very soon. And I believe that that will stop once this volatility index, the VIX, is able to curl up the daily scale in that positive trend to continue the next move. Because I believe that this volatility will head up to about 36.11 or up to the gap fill just above that. But 36.11 is another place where I do mark that off. It's just my own anecdotal data. All the levels here on the chart, besides like 20, are anecdotal data from my trading for years and years if you would like to have them. Some of those levels, the most dramatic being 36.11, 21.51, 20 is one that you always want to have, and then 1683, 1504, and 1212. Those are the levels that I really pay attention to for volatility. And just to shout those out real quick, but overall, keep it simple. Daily pullback, daily crosses up into positive territory. We make a higher low, and we're good to go. That's pretty much what we're looking for from volatility. So volatility, as of right now, on the weekly scale, it's really dramatically dropping, right? But could it curl up? Because the daily scale says, hey, we're in positive territory. We can curl up into positive territory, just like we did right over here. If you notice in the past, we were able to hold volatility at higher levels towards that 1504. Then we were able to curl up into positive territory, right? We curl up into positive territory. We go all the way down to that center line. Then we curl up into positive territory again and boom to the upside. We don't have to stop at 36.11. We can go hit that trend up towards 50, a reading of 50. As you get to that center line, you curl up into positive territory and you go off to the races with volatility. Well, look at this. We see a bunch of divergences. We go positive, right? We curl down to that center line. We pop off. That's where most likely the bigger flow of volatility will come in. That is most likely when you will get your weekly correction here for the market, for the SPY and the Qs. You are going to see that weekly correction, and you will be able to buy the SPY at probably a discount of about 12 to 15%. As of right now, my estimate is between about 9 to 14% for that corrective move. So I hope that that was overall helpful to you for VIX. Let's just summarize things on the SPY real quick, and then we'll let you guys have your little weekend. Before I summarize, thank you so much for watching this. I know you guys are busy. It's raining for me outside, so I'm going to put together a bunch, just all my videos for the weekend. You know, I haven't done 2 videos on the weekend very often lately, so I am going to do another one tomorrow going over the shorter time frames. I would love for you to subscribe and be there for it, but I like to do, when I do 2 videos, I like to do 2 today because I keep Sundays for family and for the Lord, right? So we got to keep things in their correct priority. And so for now, I would hope that you guys do have a great weekend with your family, and I hope you have a blessed, blessed Sunday with your family and with the Lord. Okay, so here we go. We see that this is happening. What are we looking for on the daily time frame? Let's just go over the really simple thing. We're looking for the daily to go up. We're going to pay attention to those shorter time frames. We're looking for the daily to cross down. We're looking for the daily to confirm another divergence point here on the MACD and the RSI. If that happens, we are even more probable than this moment right here to see something even uglier. We are very likely to get a corrective move on the weekly scale for a pullback down to a price point of about 595. But you can go anywhere from about 613.36, I would say, all the way down to potentially like, I'll say 560 at this point to take care of this potential gap. So as of right now, that's what you're looking at. And if you treat it very simply, you can look at the macro scale, understand it very simply, not make any stupid decisions, and then try to make your moves using the hints in the shorter time frames, which we're going to go over tomorrow. So make sure you're subscribed. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. We're going to go trunk or treating again. Man, I never thought trunk or treating was so tiring in my life. But hey, afterwards, I get a bunch of candy because my daughter has no idea what candy is yet. So that's kind of a blessing for me. Hey, I hope you guys have a great one. Say hi to the family for me. Go hug someone you love and have a great one. All right. Peace out.